Blanchard came to your defense 3 days ago, and Jason Furman came to your defense this morning, the former chairman of the President's
Council. I don't need anybody to defend me. I can defend myself.
I know you can defend yourself, but they came to you, they defended you as PhD economists on the theory, like the PhD economist here. The distinction to me is between the Blue Book and the Green Book and the Red Book of the IMF. The linkage of tax reform to fiscal responsibility. How does the IMF link constructive tax reform with the worldwide idea of getting our debt house in order?
Well, what needs to be done is to look at the evidence, at the data, at the numbers, and then to determine policies on that basis with in mind two things: the revenue, the spending, the political objective of being pro-growth, of wanting to improve the situation of the middle class, and of ultimately reducing excessive inequalities, if that is the case in that country. So that's what needs to happen. But clearly, in those countries that have a heavy debt burden, and those that have entitlements coming to fruition that will probably increase the spending, it is necessary to take into account that medium term and to make sure that any tax reform is revenue generating.
What is so important here is the tone of the IMF of a more optimistic world. Yeah. Obviously, the United Kingdom is off their game with the battle over Brexit and all that, and there's other serious issues within poor emerging markets. But you also mark down the U.S. because, am I right, the IMF is doubtful on successful tax reform legislation in the short term?
We've actually marked up the U.S. economy compared with our July numbers. And then we've marked up a few other countries, including advanced economies. What we hope to see is implementation of the reforms that we have called for many years. A good, solid tax reform that will be simpler, where rates, particularly corporate rates, will be lower, with a base that is much more solid and clear. That's what we hope to see, and the sooner it goes through, the better.
Let's